Have you ever watched someone at the very top of their game and thought they must have been destined for this? Maybe it's a brilliant scientist who makes a discovery that changes the world, a musician who plays as if the instrument is part of their soul, or an athlete whose every move looks effortless. We often label them as gifted, lucky, or extraordinary. But what if we've been telling the wrong story? What if their success isn't just about what they can do, but also about when and where they were, the opportunities they were given, and even the culture they grew up in? This is the lens Malcolm Gladwell gives us in his book, Outliers, a way of seeing success not as a solo act, but as the product of a much larger and more complex web. Malcolm Gladwell has a gift for weaving research and storytelling together to challenge how we see the world. When he wrote Outliers in 2008, his aim was to dig beneath the surface of extraordinary achievement. And what he found wasn't just talent or hard work. It was a mix of practice, timing, opportunity, and cultural legacy that together create the conditions for greatness. In a time where social media shows us only the highlight reels of other people's lives, this message feels even more relevant. Because if we truly understand what shapes success, we can stop chasing myths and start building the conditions that allow more people, maybe even ourselves, to reach extraordinary heights. The central idea of Outliers is simple but powerful. Success is never just the result of individual talent or determination. It's the sum of our efforts and the hidden advantages we carry. Some we've earned, some we've inherited, and some we've stumbled into by pure chance. And once you see these patterns, you can't unsee them. One of the most famous ideas in the book is the 10,000-hour rule. Gladwell draws from research by psychologist Andreas Ericsson, who found that world-class skill often comes after about 10,000 hours of deliberate, focused practice. That's not random repetition, it's practice with the intent to improve. The Beatles didn't just become legends overnight. Before they took over the music world, they spent grueling nights playing in clubs in Hamburg, Germany, sometimes 8 hours at a stretch. Those long hours gave them a musical tightness and creativity they couldn't have built otherwise. Bill Gates wasn't simply a bright, ambitious teenager. He had access to a computer terminal at a time when almost no one did. That rare opportunity allowed him to code endlessly long before most people had even seen a computer. The takeaway here is that talent matters, but so does the sheer volume and quality of time you can invest in your craft. And if you want to be exceptional, you can't shortcut that process. But the hours themselves aren't enough without the right timing. Gladwell points out that many tech pioneers, Gates, Steve Jobs, Eric Schmidt, were born between 1953 and 1955. That meant they were in their 20s when the personal computer revolution began, young enough to adapt quickly, but old enough to seize the moment. In sports, timing plays a role in a far more unexpected way. In Canadian hockey, a disproportionate number of elite players are born in the first few months of the year. Why? Because youth hockey leagues cut off eligibility by calendar year. So a kid born in January might be nearly a year older and more physically developed than a teammate born in December. That small early advantage snowballs into more playing time, better coaching, and more chances to shine. It's a reminder that sometimes the difference between being great and being overlooked is as arbitrary as the month you were born. Then there's the influence of culture, the habits, values, and communication styles passed down through generations. Gladwell explores how these can help or hinder us. In the 1990s, Korean Air suffered a worrying number of crashes. The issue wasn't mechanical failure, it was cultural. Deeply ingrained respect for authority made co-pilots hesitant to speak up when captains made errors. Changing the communication culture made a dramatic difference in safety. On the other hand, some cultural legacies give people a powerful advantage. In certain farming regions of China, growing rice demands meticulous attention and relentless effort, day after day, year-round. That tradition of discipline and persistence translates into a mindset that's especially useful in education and problem-solving. It's a reminder that we're all shaped by where we come from, and we can choose which parts of that legacy to carry forward. Gladwell also talks about something he calls practical intelligence, the kind of social savvy that helps you navigate complex systems. He contrasts Chris Langan, a man with an IQ higher than Einstein's, with Robert Oppenheimer, the brilliant physicist who led the Manhattan Project. Langan's raw intelligence was extraordinary, but he lacked the social tools to leverage it into lasting success. Oppenheimer, on the other hand, had the charm and strategic communication skills to persuade, negotiate, and lead, even talking his way out of serious trouble. The point is clear: being smart isn't enough. You also need to know how to work with people and how to move through systems effectively. One of the most heartwarming examples in Outliers is the story of Roseto, Pennsylvania in the 1950s. Researchers were puzzled to find that the residents had remarkably low rates of heart disease compared to neighboring towns. The secret wasn't diet or exercise. It was the community itself. People in Roseto lived in a close-knit network of relationships, looking out for one another, sharing meals, and offering support in ways that acted as a shield against stress. It's a reminder that success and well-being aren't always about what you achieve personally. Sometimes it's about the environment you help create around you. By the end of the book, Gladwell has reframed the way we think about achievement. The myth of the self-made genius fades, replaced by a richer understanding of how opportunity, timing, culture, and community shape our paths. That doesn't make success less inspiring. It makes it more human. Because that means that while we can't control every factor, we can recognize the advantages we have, create new ones for ourselves, and open doors for others. So the next time you see someone at the very top, resist the urge to chalk it up to pure talent. Think about the hidden hours, the perfect moments, the cultural habits, and the people who helped along the way. And think about how those same elements might be at work in your own life, quietly shaping what you're capable of becoming. If you want the full richness of these stories, from the Beatles' endless nights in Hamburg to the miracle of Roseto, Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers is worth every page. It won't just make you see success differently, it will make you see potential differently in yourself, in the people around you, and in the world you help shape.